Hey everybody, Jeff Miller here from Target Test Prep, and in today's video we're going to talk about how to balance your GRE prep with a demanding job. Most GRE students are working full-time while also studying for the GRE, and if you find yourself in that situation, there's some great things we're going to discuss here that's going to help your GRE preparation while working full-time. The first strategy I want to discuss is commit to your prep and be proactive. So what does that mean exactly? Well, if you are studying for the GRE, chances are that you're doing it for a very specific reason. And getting a great GRE score is something that is probably going to change your life for the better. Your career goals, the amount of money you'll make in your career, and just really setting yourself up for the future. Now, obviously, working full-time while doing this means that you're going to be balancing two things at one time, two important things. So the key is for you to really commit to understanding that a great GRE score is going to be a game changer for your personal development, and it's going to help you grow. So if you can take that mindset throughout your GRE preparation, chances are that you'll stay committed throughout the process, and you're not going to let the fact that you're working at a demanding job throw you off course. And in the strategies that follow, we'll discuss some specifics of what you can do to better balance all of those things going on in your life. The second strategy I want to discuss is chart a realistic course of study. So what that means is create a study schedule for yourself and be realistic of how long it's actually going to take you to prepare for your GRE. So let's think about this. If you're working full-time at a demanding job, there's a good chance you're working 50 plus hours a week. So you're going to really have to think about how you're going to fit in the study time that you need. Now there's two really nice options that you can do depending on your work schedule, and keep in mind, you don't have to stick to one of these options. You can change things up during the week depending on your work schedule. One great way to study is to get up while you're fresh before you go into work and put a few hours of studying in the morning. So around 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours if you have the time. What's great about that is you're studying while you're fresh, you're studying before you face the rigors of your day, the stresses of work, so you can really just hone in on your GRE studying. And this is something you could do every weekday if your work schedule permits it. Another thing, or another way of studying, if the mornings aren't good for you, or if you're not a morning person, is to bang out your studying right after your workday ends. So I know a lot of you may want to finish your workday, maybe go to the gym, and then study later at night. But the problem is if you do more stuff after work and you kind of get out of that mode that you're in, there's a good chance you may not be studying later in the evening. So my suggestion is your workday ends, close all your work emails, close your work laptop, whatever you have to do, and then get into your study mode and put in, again, another 2 to 3 hours of studying. Now, as far as how much you should be studying, around 18 hours as a floor is good. So if you're doing around 2 to 3 hours each weekday and bringing that up to about 3 to 5 during the weekend days, you'll hit that floor. And really, to get your GRE prep done as quickly and efficiently as possible, if you can push up to say 25 hours or more, fact is, do it. Now obviously you don't want to burn yourself out, but getting a specific study routine in is very important. So as you kind of chart out this studying, make a study schedule for yourself. It may be that Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays you like to study in the morning, but Tuesdays and Thursdays you like to study in the evening. And remember, that can change from week to week, but you should have your week studying set so you don't find that anything gets in the way of your prep and you can really hold yourself accountable. Because the thing is, things will come up or you may just be unmotivated one day to study. And the clear fact is we don't want that lack of motivation or feeling some way on a particular day to really affect the fact that you should be studying. And lastly, your GRE prep is going to take you a while. So you just need to make sure that you do plan ahead and give yourself plenty of time to get through your studying to take the test, and give yourself even extra time if you have to take your test multiple times. Strategy number 3 is study during your commute. Now, obviously, if you drive to work, you can kind of ignore this, although you could listen to podcasts or even the YouTube videos like this video here as an audio medium to be doing something while you're commuting. But this is also more so for someone who's taking a train to work, taking a bus to work, anything where you're not behind the wheel of a car. And look, it's a great time to get in some studying. If you have cell service in your commute, open up, your self-study course. If you're using an online one that has some sort of mobile capabilities to it, use that. If you don't have cell service or just don't want to get into actually going through a course in your commute, no problem. Pull out your flashcards. This is something that I love and I've talked about in other videos that I've done here. Pull them out, cycle through your flashcards. I don't care if your commute's 5 minutes, I don't care if it's 10 minutes or an hour. Anything you can be doing during that commute is considered extra study time. And if you can get in, let's even say 20 to 30 minutes of extra study time Monday through Friday, well, that's about 150 minutes of extra studying. And the great part about flashcard review and things like that is it serves as a review. So it's not like your normal studying where you're working through your study plan, but it's seeing things from past topics, ensuring that you don't forget things. And that way, if you do your review during your commute, you don't have to set aside time later on to do so. So remember, getting any chance to study, including your commute, is going to be a game changer for you. The next strategy I want to discuss is study while waiting. So we've already talked about how to study during your commute, which I guess is a form of waiting, but I'm talking about any time you're standing in a line or sitting in a waiting room, whether it be the grocery store, the mechanic, the doctor's office, the dentist's office, any time you'd be standing somewhere where otherwise you would go on your phone or open a magazine. Use that time to study. So again, you could open up your app and get through some problems or some texts if you have the TTP app, for example, or the TTTP course. Or again, grab your flashcards, right? They should be with you all the time. Pull them out of your pocket and cycle through them. It honestly doesn't matter if you're waiting for 3 minutes or 10 minutes. Any extra time you're studying is going to be helpful. So take advantage of those points in the day when you really have nothing to do but wait for whatever it is you're waiting for. And to reiterate to what I said before, this amount of extra studying will add up and it will be a game changer for how well you learn and remember the information that you've been going through for your GRE studying. The next strategy I want to discuss is cut out unnecessary things in your life. Now, this is huge. I talk to students about this all the time. The fact is, you have two kind of main things happening in your life that you probably can't cut out. You've got your professional responsibilities, and then you also have your family responsibilities, right? And if you're working a demanding job, as we know, those professional responsibilities are probably pretty great. So what do you have to do to fit in 18 or 25 hours of GRE studying a week? Well, you have to really evaluate your life and cut out the things that just aren't necessary. Now, this doesn't mean for the end of time that you'll be cutting these things out, but it means you're going to be prioritizing your GRE studying until it's complete. So a lot of the cutting out is probably going to be social things, even things that are related to your job, like happy hours or going out with coworkers, and then things you may do with friends socially, maybe road trips, maybe brunches, anything that you could sit back and say, you know what, my time would probably better be spent working on my GRE. And that doesn't just mean that the times you cut these things out, you are studying. Let's say you get your studying done on a Friday morning and you have friends going out Friday after work, let's say. But you know that you're supposed to get up Saturday and you're supposed to study because you have other more important responsibilities Saturday during the day. Well, what would be the wise decision? Well, the wise decision would be don't go out Friday night, turn in early, get the rest you need so you can get up early on Saturday and get your GRE studying done. Remember, and I'll say this again, this isn't forever. So if you feel like you're missing out on things, you've got to really look at why you're studying for the GRE, why you're putting in all this effort, why you're putting in all these sacrifices. And if you can think of it that way, I think you'll see that cutting out some of the unnecessary stuff in your life is going to be well worth it. And then once you crush the GRE, you can go back to doing a lot of these fun things that you were doing before. The next strategy I want to discuss is form a GRE study group. So look, you're working hard, you're putting a lot of hours in at work, and you're trying to stay motivated to get in some GRE studying. Yes, you can put things down in a study calendar to hold yourself accountable, but your motivation may wear at times and come back and forth depending on the day and how you're feeling. Well, what's a great way to keep up a level of motivation even after having a tough day at work? Well, that would be forming a pretty cool GRE study group. Now, you could try to do this in person, which these days I think you could still do, or you could try to form something like a Discord group or a WhatsApp group with GRE students who are like-minded and have similar goals. Now, it might be difficult to find students, but you may have colleagues or coworkers who are studying for the GRE. You may have friends who are studying for the GRE. And heck, you could go on forums such as Reddit and try to seek out people who are studying for the GRE. But bringing like-minded students together who have similar GRE goals and similar aspirations and motivations can really be a game changer. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to study with this group every single day, but who knows, maybe form a group that meets, once a week, every Tuesday night, and you guys can bring together questions that you're struggling with or ideas and work through them together. It would be a nice little change up to keep you motivated and on track with your GRE studying, all the while working a demanding job. The next strategy I want to discuss is hit the books hard on the weekends. Now, we've already talked about trying to fit in around 18, 25 plus hours a week of studying. We mentioned about 2 hours or more, 2 to 3 hours on the weekdays, more on the weekend days. And the fact is, if you're not working weekends, that's a time where you can get a lot done. Not just 2 to 3 hours, maybe 5, 6, 7 hours. Maybe you do double sessions. Maybe you study in the morning on a Saturday and then later in the afternoon if you can swing it, depending on how your day looks. But the key is that's free time, and that should be uninterrupted time where you can really do a lot of damage to your GRE studying. And this goes back to the thing I said earlier. This is why if everyone that you know or your friends are going out on a Friday night and you know that you need to do a 5-6 hour marathon study session on a Saturday, then you probably don't want to go out. And look, I'm not saying that your entire weekend or your entire Saturday has to be made up of your GRE studying. The fact is, if you want to get up at the crack of dawn on Saturday, study from 7 to 12, let's say, so 5 good hours with a cup of coffee, and then go do something fun to reward yourself or meet up with friends, do it. That's not a bad way to structure your day. And again, it comes back to you kind of getting that studying done in the morning. And then when you get to the practice phase of your preparation, the weekends are a great time to do practice tests. Remember, you're going to need around, say, 4 hours to do a practice test. You also want to take that practice test while you're fresh. So I would recommend, rather than doing it on, a weekday when you're tired from work, do it when you're fresh on a Saturday and Sunday so you can get the most out of your practice exams. So whether you're studying for 4 months, 3 months, 8 months, really make a point to take advantage of your weekend studying. And I know that your GRE prep will go more efficiently, even though you have a lot to do with your job during the week. The next strategy I want to discuss is have an honest conversation with your boss. Now, keep in mind, this does have a caveat. If your boss doesn't know you're going to graduate school or planning to, then don't have that conversation because we don't know where that's going to lead. But if your boss is on board with you going to graduate school and is well aware of your graduate school plans and is going to be a recommender for you, well, that means your boss is probably supportive of your endeavor of attending or eventually attending graduate school. So talk to your boss. Tell your boss how much work it's going to take you to successfully prepare for your GRE. And who knows, maybe your boss has a graduate degree as well and understands exactly what's coming your way as you dive into your prep. But either way, see if your boss can be somewhat accommodating. I realize you're still going to have responsibilities at work. We've talked about that. But maybe during the time that you're doing that studying, if there are certain things your boss would have given to you in a normal situation, maybe he'll hold off doing or she'll hold off doing, depending on how important those things are. And I just think having your boss be aware of the situation in case it seems like your mind is elsewhere or you're doing other things outside of work that's kind of taking your mind off things, you just want him or her to be abreast of the situation so it makes the process of studying for your GRE as nice as possible. I realize no boss is going to say, yeah, just kind of hang out for a year and get done with your GRE studying. But they may lay off of you for a few months. They may allow you to take some extra vacation days, especially if they see that you're really working hard for your GRE and you're trying to hit a goal. But again, if your boss doesn't know about this, then yes, do not have that honest conversation. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to do the best you can with your situation. The last strategy I want to discuss is start your GRE prep sooner rather than later. Now, this is huge, and I've talked about this in other videos. I can say with pretty good confidence that the younger you are, generally, the more free time and less responsibilities you have, right? So this starts with right after graduation, and I know we're talking about how to study with a demanding job, but if you can study without a demanding job, that would be amazing. So for example, many people graduate college and they have a good few months, sometimes 3 to 4 months even, before they have to begin that job. And if you know that you'll be taking the GRE within 5 years of taking it, if you know that you'll be applying to graduate school within 5 years of taking your GRE, meaning before that score expires, then heck, get that GRE done while you don't have to worry about a job and having those responsibilities. And you'll be super happy 2 to 3 years down the line when you're applying to school and you see everyone around you is juggling that job and trying to also study for the GRE. Look, that might not be possible. You may be currently in your job or in the first year of your job. And if that's the case, even if you know you want to apply to graduate school 2-3 years down the road, again, take the GRE now. Study for the GRE now. Why wait, right? Because what will happen is if you wait and you push it off, one day you're going to wake up and say, oh man, I really want to go to grad school. You're going to realize, oh crap, my applications are due in 6 months from now. I better get on my GRE. Well, what happens if you actually really needed 7 or 8 months to get that GRE score? How much would that stink? Then you got to wait another application cycle and then apply with the score you need, or apply with a lower score and maybe go to a lesser tiered program. So my point is, get your GRE done early and do it before it's too late. Do it before your back is up against the wall. Do it at a time where you can get it done efficiently and effectively, where there's less things going on in your life. And if you can do that, I'm confident that you will get a great GRE score. And if not, and you're in the middle of a demanding job or a lot of responsibilities, again, just follow the advice I gave you here and get your GRE studying done as quickly and efficiently as you possibly can. So thanks everybody for listening and watching today, and I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff with you guys next time. Bye everybody.